Hello crazy coders, I'm Nitin, your host, and today we will continue our discussion on why C++ is so popular despite being one of the oldest high level language. And as I said, we'll go through the four aspects of this programming language to answer our main question, which is history, philosophy, power and market sections. In the previous video, we talked about the history of C++, which is who created it, when and why it was created, and this programmer created it, and also the timeline of various C++ version release, and also the features of those releases. So do check out, link will be in the description. In this video, we'll talk about the philosophy, which is what is this language, why it's different, how it's unique, what are the ideologies, what are the principles, what design. So yeah, let's continue. So let's begin. C++. So when you Google it, C++, the Wikipedia definition says C++ is a general purpose programming language created as an extension of C programming language or C with classes, and modern C++ has object-oriented generic functional features and also low-level memory manipulation. It also allows it is always implemented as a compiled language, and many vendors provide C++ compilers. So C++ is general purpose and it is object oriented, functional, generic, low level manipulation, compiled language. So we'll go through these topics. We'll go through these terms one by one, but one thing to note here is C++ is an extension of C programming language or C with classes. C with classes is exact extension of C programming language, and C++ is the extension of C with classes, which basically makes it extension of C programming language as well. Let's move ahead. So programming languages can be classified into two things, which is general purpose language and domain specific language. Let me talk about domain specific language first. So in this type of languages, you may have seen HTML. And I'm sure that you have never seen HTML apart from being used to develop web layouts, to design web layouts. And even that's the same thing with SQL. You might have never seen it apart from being used in the database domain. So that's what basically they mean. They are restricted to only one domain of use and they're specialized for it. But when it comes to general purpose language, you see Python, C++ and other languages which can be used in variety of application domain, and they build software for variety of domains. So that's why they are general purpose, means designed to be used for building software in wide variety of domains. So that's it. And there are three types of programming, as I already mentioned in my previous videos, which is functional programming, object oriented and procedural. So procedure basically means you just write code one by one and it just executes. But in functional programming, you create bunch of functions and they interact with each other to perform a particular task or to solve a particular problem. So yeah, there is in C++ there is main function which everything is almost connected to. And in object oriented programming, you create classes, you create objects, and those objects have attributes and behaviors. So it is very close to real world and it is very much used for software development, and C++ supports it. And the third another form of programming which C++ supports is generic programming. So what is generic programming? It has three stages. In the stage 1, the programmer writes template code. So you write a template code, and in the second stage you use the template code, you write another piece of code making use of the template code, and you mention a specific data type. So in the third stage, the compiler generates the concrete code for the type you mentioned in the stage 2 and of the template code you created in stage 1. So basically in the stage 1 you write the template code, in the stage 2 you use the template code and mention a particular data type. In the third stage, the compiler generates a workable code of the template code which you created in the stage 1 of the data type which you mentioned in the stage 2. So moving ahead, as we know, C++ is a compiled language. A compiled language basically means the language which is the code file is converted into machine code through compiling, and then it is made to run in CPU or any other CPU basically means that it is first compiled and it is turned into machine code and then it is ready to run, which is not the case in interrupted languages, which I discussed in previous video. Do check out. So C++ is a compiled language, and the code of compiled language can be executed directly by computer CPU, which makes it more efficient in the performance. So that's why C++ is a compiled language. Even C is a compiled language. So since extension, it is also C compiled language. Now the second part of the Wikipedia definition says that C++ was designed with orientation toward a system programming and embedded resource constrained software and large system with performance, efficiency and flexibility of use as its design highlights. So C++ was designed with an orientation toward system programming means that C++ designer made sure that it supports system programming and embedded programming very well, and that's why we'll talk about these terms, system programming, embedded, in a while. But the only thing to here understand is C++ works very well with system programming and embedded programming, and it also works very well in resource constrained software, which means they don't have a lot of computing power, or in large system where computing power is so much required. I mean, there is a lot of computing power, but speed and efficiency is very important. So C++ is used in both systems, but its design is oriented toward resource constrained software, so keeping in mind that. And in the design highlights of this language is performance, efficiency and flexibility, which is very much required in resource constrained software. Now system programming means programming computer system software. So other languages and like Python, they're very good for programming softwares, but C++ is used for computer system programming, which means operating system, which means programming operating system, computational science software, game engines, industrial automation and softwares as a service application, which are very big softwares which have performed a lot of application. So that's why C++ supports it, and system programming basically programming computer system software. Now embedded means embedded system is a microcontroller. It means there is only one processor and it just receives input, it performs something, only one task, and it produces output, which and examples include industrial robots, GPS receivers, digital cameras. So all these perform only one function, and they have input, output and only one function, which is performed by microcontroller, microprocessor, which is only one. Now, so the C++ philosophy can be summarized into three things, which is philosophy of C, OOPS, which is object oriented programming, and generic programming via templates. So as we know, philosophy of C is mainly about its low level capacity, which is very good and efficient for low level resource constrained softwares and systems. And OOP, as you know, it's very good for software development, which is real world softwares which we use. So in generic programming, as I already discussed, it means creating a template code and using that template code for a variety of data types. And the third stage, as I discussed, it compiler automatically creates a workable code of the data types you mentioned. So that was it, the philosophy. The remaining section, which is market and power, will be covered in upcoming videos, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. If you enjoyed this video, like and share with your other programming friends. Finally, thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead, and we will see you in the next video.